Good night. I think we're live now. Well, not live, but I'm recording it to upload this evening, which is already 10:47. And hello, Deborah. I haven't forgotten your birthday. It's on the 26th, and we're on the 24th now, and you're on the 25th. So I'm going to explain, which you already know, but thank you everyone for all your comments, Jane, Susan, many others. And I'm trying to remember your name, you've written so much. And I thank you for your comments and your well wishes, but I haven't been able to record for the following reasons. And I'm not doing anything Catholic or Christian in this video. It's going to be as brief as possible, just to explain why. So I'm being very careful how I'm speaking. As you'll know, the title has something to do with it. However, there are other health conditions beside toothache, but this is only about toothache. I have angina, which I've never ever told many people, and since all the stress I've been having, it's affecting my health. And I went to local Tesco's tonight. I had to sit on my walker. I had a pain in my chest. I'm only under the GP, but I don't have any heart medications. I have to be careful. And I've had a lot of stress. I've been under horrific stress, but I don't want to talk about it because it will get me more stress. There are people who listen to see what I'm saying and then report me for being antisocial or breaking the data protection rules when I pray for people. And I never give people's full names, addresses or personal details. But if they listen, which they have, and I've been told that they do, and they've told me themselves, they don't agree with what I'm saying, or they know it's the truth. So let me now go back to the subject of this video. The subject of this video has been prompted by what I am still going through, and it began as a surprise, and I do have a solution at the end of it. Not for just me, but I want to share my experience because it may happen to you. I happen to be on what they call guaranteed pension credit, and we assume that we get our dentistry free. That's if you already have an NH dentist. 90% of dentists now in UK, England, are not accepting new patients. You have to go private now if you have a toothache. So I'm going to tell the story. And if you don't have the money, well, this is what happened to me. I'm not saying I didn't have the money. I'm one of those blessed people who plan. I plan, I save for my funeral, I save for emergencies, and I try not to touch the money. And I overpay my rent deliberately, because you never know what could happen. And because of those reasons, I'm having treatment for my mouth, and I'll explain that now. So my big question is, do you have a dentist? If you do, there's no need to listen to this video at all. You can go and enjoy some other video. There's plenty out there, especially with world issues. So this is the 24th of September 2024. I told my followers I would record today, although I'm not ready, not completely, until the 3rd of October 2024. But now I will try to explain the long time without recording. The last time, other than a live one, was the 9th of August. And that video included St. Edith Stein. She's called St. Teresa of Benedicta of the Cross. And on this, what contents, I'll put the YouTube link. By the way, they're banning my rosary videos, they're writing to me and taking them down. They don't do that to the priests and the authentic and the bigger people in the Catholic Church. They pick on little people like me. So they're removing my videos on rosary and other subjects, saying that they're breaking WHO regulations and health advice. I'm not going into it, but isn't that ridiculous? They obviously know nothing about faith. They don't believe in God, these people. So the only live stream this year that I recorded was on the 15th of August for 2 hours 22 minutes. It was the Our Blessed Lady Virgin Mary's feast day, and the readings from the Apocalypse, Psalm and Letter of St. Paul from the Corinthians. And I was remembering Misty Cat, a great follower, a very special follower of mine, and she was friends with others, especially Deborah Roll from Australia. So get back to the subject, toothache. Toothache has suddenly changed everything, and what with other stressful things going on around me, which I'm not talking about, I had to stop doing my normal daily habits. I was no longer able to continue with them for outstanding exterior stresses given to me, accusations in writing. When I lived in Jamaica for 10 years, it was different, and fortunately I never needed a dentist there. But my Jamaican husband, rest in peace Donovan, he did, and he nearly died in front of my eyes. And he ended up in the ICU in Montego Bay for about 5 weeks or more, around that, in a coma. He was airlifted by helicopter from St. Anne's Bay. Toothache caused this. After collapsing there, he'd been there in the morning, turned away, and he went everywhere looking for help, different clinics, and no help. And he endured this pain for days before this particular day. And as I experienced the same pain this August, I feel sorry now looking back at what he was going through. And I suffered with it until the 20th of August this year, when it was removed, but there was a lot of stuff going on in the meantime. I took painkillers, but the pain remained. And so by Saturday the 17th of August, it was so very bad, I was on a bus to Kingston in Queen Elizabeth Hospital at 7 a.m, reaching 7:30, and registered, and I was seen. They were very polite, very good to me, but when I moved from one section to the next, going through a pain, it was not even air, that it was just, I think an enamel that must have gone, and my vein, whatever that is in there, it was exposed. Anyway, it was terrible. And about 11 a.m, because they ask you what's the pain like between 1 to 10, and I went 9. You see, I would have said it was 10 really. So I waited till about 11. I didn't notice anybody around me. But the lady doctor, she was lovely, and because my face wasn't swollen, which if it had been, it seems that I might have been seen, but they didn't have any surgeons on duty, and they might have, if it was swollen, like out here, they might have treated me. However, they never had any there. So she told me she'd give me antibiotics, which she did give me penicillin, and that I would have to find a dentist myself. Now, this was a Saturday, so you couldn't find one on a Sunday. So it was Monday when I made calls, and a neighbour, he's got a lovely dog I give bits to, and he saw I was in a lot of pain, and he told me about the Grange, and absolutely marvellous dentist, he said there, although previous ones haven't been as good as this new Indian lovely doctor. So the doctor gave me antibiotics, and I'm not having a dentist in Norfolk because I moved back here in March the 28th, 2017 from Manchester, England, where I'd had previously been living in Jamaica. And I had a dentist there. So he sadly died of cancer, but he did make a plate for my top and one for the bottom that kept 2 teeth, one there and one there. And I never thought I'd get toothache. It never occurred to me. So I've been here since 2017. This is the first toothache I had, and the last. Well, the other one was, anyway, we'll carry on. He was recommended to me, that one in Manchester, by a Jamaican friend. She took me to see him and joined me up as an NHS patient in 2009, 2010. And he made me excellent dentures for my upper mouth and a lower one. And that retained my only 2 teeth. So when returning to Norfolk, my home county it is, in 2017, I never realised that I might need an dentist. Although I once tried, I went to a big place with lots of dentists there, somewhere near Debenhams, I think. I once tried, and I entered the NHS practice that particular day, where all the staff had actually that very day stopped being NHS doctors. They'd had enough of the NHS and they'd only accept private, but I never had anything wrong with my mouth at that time. And they weren't happy with their contract, so that was goodbye. And I didn't think again to go and look and see if there were still any NHS dentists. And so after that I ignored even trying to look for one, not realising that I might need one day. And I assumed wrongly, because I was on guaranteed pension credit, there was no need to worry at all. So how wrong I was, because I didn't know that the health of the dentistry industry would get worse by this year, which is 24, and it obviously has. I've been told by many people there's lots of people on lists to become NHS, but then they're not removed. And I suppose it goes down when they have room, they take more in. I don't know. So it was impossible to find one when I really needed one. However, a good neighbour, thank you, David, that weekend he recommended me his dentist at the Grange in the next village, Nettisham, and he's a wonderful practitioner. His name is Dr. MANDEEP BHOGAL. I can't pronounce his name, BHOGAL, but BHOGAL. He's a medical doctor, and I have all the details that I'll put at the end of this for those near us in Snettisham, near in King's Lynn environment. It's about 20-minute drive. I telephoned them on the Monday following that visit on the 17th, and I was in desperate pain, and I think I would have paid anything, whatever they asked, because of it, the pain. And I had no time to research any more in my area who would accept me on their lists or any which way. And I'd rather have personal recommendation from someone who uses that dentist, which my neighbour does. They're most of them full anyway, and many people have to go on the waiting list. So I was unable to function because of the pain, let alone think of recording for my channel. So the excruciating pain, it just took over my whole life. And then I was having all these other issues, which I will not talk about. And I accepted the first date that I could make, as I had an important eye test at Downham Market, my hometown, where I hope to live. And that was at midday on the 20th. So I accepted to put up with the pain for another day, because my eyes are also, I'm a diabetic. At the Grange early, that was on Tuesday the 21st. Parker's cancelled the optician because she had tested positive COVID. So I didn't even want to call the Grange about the pain. It was killing me, so I prepared and I caught the bus there. I would have waited as long as it took to be seen, but the kind Dr. MANDEEP, in his compassion and mercy and generosity, took pity on me, and although he had people look like a family there was adults, children, big children, he took me immediately in as an agreed private patient. I did know the charges before accepting to go private. Shocked me a bit, but it's not just him, they all have to charge. They've got, so he was gentle, not even hurting me like you expect some from the prick of the needle of the anaesthetic. It never happened. There was no feeling of when he put the anaesthetic in, and it was surprisingly painless. I never felt anything at all, not as he continued the procedure, no pain whatsoever. And as the tooth was removed, there was no crunching or issues or problems. Usually you hear them and all of that. I didn't, you know, it was really smooth. I was expecting something, and I was pleasantly surprised at how I had no need to worry about it. Notwithstanding, I am claustrophobic. I can't normally bear anyone near my face. That's why I haven't had my cataracts done yet, because I'm frightened that I'd jump out of the chair while they're doing an eye, because I'd rather them knock me out. I don't mean, I mustn't laugh because I've only got the top dentures, and I'll explain that in a minute. So I had no need to worry about it. Notwithstanding being claustrophobic, not even those issues didn't affect me either. That was good. But there's more to this than just having a tooth out. All my 77 years from school age, I've been under NHS dental service, and I never had to pay. And here in my old age, I and most other people are in a position of having to pay if they just do not have a dentist. Although even on guaranteed pension credit, it doesn't mean you can receive it free, not if you don't have a dentist. And as I'd not had any treatment in years, I never looked at what I might do if I had an emergency like this. I suppose I'm more fortunate than most poor people. I have no debts, no credit cards, but I am allowed an overdraft up to £1,000. But that has a cost attached because you have to pay it back, and there's interest to pay. I also have paid my rent in advance, which I thank God for that, hoping to transfer to equivalent accommodation in my hometown if and when a larger one. I need 2 bedrooms. I have too many folders, too many storage boxes with all my Catholic and Christian materials and library books and many things. They're all in the bedroom, and many are here in front of me on my left. You can't see them, but they're there. All the things that I use. So when a larger one eventually becomes available, so that money's there, and I requested a refund from my landlords to cover the cost of the new dentures, and despite the manager said it should be put in my account today, it's not yet there. That was in 2:30 in the afternoon after he'd gone. So I'm trying to make my point, and will soon reach it, as to what should be done for any person in my situation, and has made no plans already. I will explain what I've been through regards the costs. Notwithstanding my income, I don't mind sharing it, is pension, because I was away the last 10 years of my working life, and I also raised 4 children, 2 more after old age, but in as much as like being just a motherly figure for them. So my pension's 56 and a few pennies, and my pension credit guarantee is 161. That's my total income. But I manage, and I'm not moaning, I'm not complaining, and I thank the government for that. I have a pension, even if it is considerably lower than what people earn when they work, because in Jamaica, elderly people, most of them who don't work in the normal way that they do here. If they work, many of them will not have a pension when they retire unless they work for the government, and so they depend on their children or grandchildren who they raise to help them when they're old like me. So the private charges, these are standard private charges. Well, my first cost on the 20th was £187, which, if you look at it, takes a great chunk out of my weekly income, because my weekly income is not, I've just told you what it was. The breakdown was like the consultation charge would be 60 when you first go to the dentist. The extraction was 127, but it would normally be 120. So that was on the 20th. On the 4th of September I returned, and we both decided, the dentist and I, that the second tooth was a bit dodgy, in the sense that I might get toothache again with that one. So it was removed, extracted, no consultation fee, just the £120. So we'll examine the situation. If you have a toothache, you're not NHS, you have no insurance, no nothing, you will pay at any dentist probably £120 to have it out. So on 9th of September I returned, mouth and gum checkup, and the first mould was taken. And then I gave a contribution. I was told what the sum for that one denture at the bottom, which isn't there yet, I'll try not to show, it's £700 to have that, the bottom lower mouth with a new denture that fits. 700. So I gave a deposit that day of 700, and then I went again, and then on the 24th, which is today, I had the fitting of the new teeth, but that was the first fitting and the testing of it. And you have to, like you have your other denture in, and then you have to make them fit. And he said that I will need, and this is what he gave me this sample. So I'll need this Fixodent, but I don't use Fixodent in the top, it just stays there, hopefully, if I don't sing or something. Well, even if I sing, it stays in some. But he said I'll need this Fixodent. It's a little tube thing, and I've got a very nice looking toothbrush with no teeth. I mean, presumably it just cleans the teeth. It's got a little bit at the bottom there, but anyway, this is for dentures or partials, and it's called Fixodent. So I'm going to have to use that probably on the lower one for some reason. They're different, aren't they? The lower ones and the top ones. So anyway, he's a perfectionist, this dentist. He has to have it perfect, so he's going to keep them another week. And the final visit will be on the 3rd of October, because I've got the opticians Parker's in Downer Market at lunchtime on the 1st, and then on the 2nd in Downham at the they do it in the church, the Methodist church, because they do a lot of functions there, and they give they serve dinners every day for very small fees to people my age, and well, any age really. And they are having at 1:30 the special equipment for people with diabetes. There has a special test, it's only for diabetes people, and I'm going to that at 1:30. So on the 3rd of October, on a Thursday, I'm going to my final testing and, well, giving me the final lower dental teeth and paying the remainder of £500. I was going to pay it today and I left my purse at home. It was under a whole heap of papers in here and I hadn't noticed that it wasn't in my bag. So I'm glad that I didn't embarrass myself by not having my money with me. So I mean, I currently I don't use the Fixodent, but I'll let you know if it's good. So I presume I will have to. But part of my claustrophobia is I don't like my teeth in, and I don't think I'd like gluing them in either. But if I have to, I will. So anyway, my upper denture is okay, but I'll need to consider it at least for the lower denture. And Mr. Mandeep gave me this sample, so who knows, I might test it out before I return, but I don't think if my teeth can stay in without that I will bother. So, and the toothbrush looks interesting. So now let's look at the real issues for everyone, not just me, including and particularly me for future. These are insured, thank goodness they're insured, the ones that I'm going to receive. Although he did say at some point in the future I'll need to replace the top ones. I thought, oh goodness me. And that's what I'm getting to, the point. So now the real issues for everyone, including me, are the costs of private dentistry until I'm on a waiting list for his NHS patients. And this is the secret that I think, because I asked him about the following. The dental practices, I didn't ask him about what I'm talking about now though, but I know that they do have overhead costs. They have either the buildings they own it or they rent it, and the upkeep of it, and the staff, rental, upkeep, staff costs. I mean, they employ receptionists, more than one. Obviously they do different hours. Dental nurses and those that provide other services of dental care, because it's a very big old building. Beautiful it is, in private land. And also the technicians, they probably send out to have them done. I didn't ask, they could do them there, I don't know. Those who build the teeth. We've got one in Lynn and one in Hunstanton. And naturally, I questioned the doctor, Mandeep, about insurance policies, because I know that they exist. And I'd only, normally in the past, I use independent financial advisors, but I'd rather use a dentist, and the reasons I'm going to give you now. Because the treatments are expensive, and it's not their fault. They have to charge what they can make a living from. So they, in their practices, some, I'll just have a sip of water. Yes, some of them actually sell, or their secretaries must do, their receptionists do, provide the insurance cover, or they maybe discuss it with the dentist to find a suitable plan, because some are families, some are individuals, and some have different requirements. So he told me, Dr. Mandeep, that the average monthly cost for insurance for these services is £10. Well, look how many years since I haven't been to a dentist. I wouldn't mind paying it, knowing the pain at the end of it if you can't immediately have your tooth out, which I couldn't. I mean, I did have pain leading up to Saturday the 17th, and from then on until it was removed on the 20th, which was unbearable. I didn't go to church on Sunday. I couldn't. No way. I just couldn't cope with the pain. It was not as bad as my husband's, but it was driving me round the bend. So I've concluded that anybody who has no dentist or no savings, no support, that you can immediately seek a dental practice or a dentist recommended by a relative or friend or neighbour like mine, And I'd do this, find and go to a dentist, one who's recommended if possible, and ask him or her to provide you with, this is now, why you haven't got toothache, provide you with a suitable insurance plan policy, which they use in their practices with their patients, and then put you on their waiting list as well as a potential future patient. So you'll have the two options. You'll pay you £10 a month, which is a lot cheaper than what my bill. I've just told you what it is. And that is the best idea that I can come up with. Because even on guaranteed pension credit, if you haven't got a dentist who's accepted you NHS, you have to pay what I'm paying now. You haven't got any choice. And if your children don't live near you or they've got family, they might not be able to come up with that kind of money. Even people who are working, you might not have that money. Just add up what I've been spending, and I've been telling you on this video. You'll understand what I'm getting at. I'm not doing this just for me, but to let my followers know that I'm okay and that I'm having teeth made. And I wouldn't like to be recording every day without both in, because I not consider myself proud, but I'd like to be humble always in everything, but I wouldn't like to make a mistake when I'm reading scripture. That's simply that. I don't want to make mistakes when I'm reading the Word of God. So I guess there should be insurance. I've always thought that. I've thought it through, but I do now. And I'm rather tired today, actually. But I told myself that I would attempt to record this before the end of the day, and it's nearly the end of the day. It's 13 past 11 now, so it's taken longer than I thought. And I don't want to embarrass myself too much without a full dental setting. I'm agreeable to keep my word to you, Deborah, in Australia. And I'll make one tomorrow for your birthday. And I'll ring you tomorrow, because tomorrow will be the 26th in Australia, but 25th here. So I'm sending you a big happy birthday, Deborah. And I'm hoping you have many, many more, especially that special one that ends in an O. You're in my category now, and you're always ahead of me there in time. And it's already 25th there, and now we're still on the 24th for another hour. So it might be very late going up. I've got to put it on, and it has to upload, so that might take a little bit of time. So I will read you scripture tomorrow for your birthday, hopefully. I've got all the readings prepared since the day that I have not recorded. They're all printed off and typed up and ready to roll. So I won't have any hiccups. I'll just do the day of the actual day and one from the arrears. I've got them in order. I've got them written in my book, so I just have to, I won't have any problems looking up scriptures and joining them all up. They're already done, but they're not all in folders yet. They're in those covers, and then I'm still putting them in folders, but I've done nearly the whole of August, so I'll catch up. And I've got the Bible in 1 year to finish. I've done every day except 365. So anyway, that's the reason I made the video, to let you all know that I'm okay. I'm not in perfect health, but I thank God that I'm reasonable. I managed to do everything slowly. I'm very tired. I do a lot of typing, and I still read the Bible. I still pray. You can see a lot of stuff on the settee for the little grandchildren, the 2 twins, 5 in Bristol. They're my friends' granddaughters, but I'm another one. another nanny. And then my little grandsons, whose parents were born in Gaza, Palestine. I've been getting them stuff for when they visit, but they might end up in London or probably Bristol beforehand. So I'm sorry if my teeth are missing, but I said I'd do this video, but I'm not sure if I'll continue. I'll ask what you think, Deborah, and if you think it looks so terrible, I'll not do any until I get my teeth next week, because I don't like showing the mouth doesn't look very acceptable. Can't help it. So what do we do but for poor people in the world? It's sad, isn't it? Toothache is a terrible pain. It's really horrible. So I think we should pray for people who can't get dental treatment. And in our country, there's people who must be out there. What about, those at the bottom of the heap? We'll be like a third world country where doctors and missionaries and dentists go out to treat the people, and they queue up for hours for treatment. Yeah, England's getting like that. Isn't it sad? When I was a child, we automatically had a dentist, and we went to a dentist. It was never thought of. This is thank you to the National Health. But what's happened to it? Private. It's the same for a lot of things in the National Health. So I thank God that I've only got angina, a bad back injury, and what else have I got wrong? Arthritis, knees, back, and a little in the fingers and the arms and things, like when you get cold and that. So I do thank the Lord that we have some health help, but it's going away, so we have to be careful. And we put those politicians in, and Labour, I told you I wasn't going to vote for them, and I'm glad I didn't. They're worse. They're worse. They're terrible. Well, all of them are not very good, are they? So anyway, thank you for listening. May God bless you. May you learn a little about what to do and how to support yourself from having future costs like this. If you could afford, people maybe give up smoking or give up something that costs them money that damages their health, and then get yourself an insurance policy from a dentist as opposed to an agent of insurance. Go and find a dentist and give him your ideas that you would like to have an insurance policy for dental treatment, but your teeth are fine, and that's just in case of an emergency, because you'd like him to deal with your future pain in your mouth and your teeth, or any infections or things that you need to see a dentist for. Do that, or make inquiries. I would advise it, because if I didn't have these funds that I can call on, which I wasn't expecting to spend that money, I was going to buy a plot for my death in Downham Market, and I contacted the agent, because obviously that's private now, and the lady told me a plot, yes, Rouse's Lane, £700. Where do you live? I said Heacham. Oh, she said, that's £1,400. So I said, I'll wait until I move and then I'll buy it. So, and then obviously the rent thing was part of, they might not allow me to move to a 2-bed, laws and things and costs and what have you. It's slightly dearer, but not considerably. So that's why I have the extra money that I could have asked for back and will receive probably before next week. Anyway, thank you for listening. God bless you, Deborah, and everybody else, all my followers. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I've been away, but I will catch up. I'll do the daily maths readings and one additional as long as I'm able. Bless you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.